इंडस्ट्रियल हाइजीन एंड सेफ्टी या वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट ऐसा कुछ टॉपिक चल रहा था इसके बाद, या
ऑक्यूपेशनल हेल्थ चल रहा था ना?
ठीक है, बट इसके बाद वो स्टार्ट करने वाले थे ना,
नहीं
इंडस्ट्रियल
नहीं
हाइजीन एंड सेफ्टी।
नहीं नहीं, बेसिक डेटा एंड टूल्स।
अच्छा, ये बेसिक डेटा का रिक्वायरमेंट रहता है उसके लिए, है ना?
एक्चुअली ये फर्स्ट टॉपिक है।
हम्म। बट ऑक्यूपेशनल हेल्थ में इतना बेसिक डेटा यूज नहीं होता है, राइट?
हम्म Okay, in basic data and tools, we have two important topics. One is specification management and second is phrase management. Also, apart from that, we'll see what is a report definition. But this is more like a theoretical part. So, leaving out report definition, we have specification management and phrase management. These two are very important. Especially specification management is highly important. Okay. So we'll take up first specification management, then later on we'll see phrase management. It will take a lot of time just to understand about the specification management itself. So in the specification management, there are a lot of things to learn and understand. But before going to specification management, what is basic data and tools? This is the main component in the SAP EHS, basic data and tools. But what does it actually mean? A basic data and tools is a SAP EHS component which is used to mainly create the data. Now, for example, let's say you want to create some EHS data. Maybe for a chemical you want to create a MSDS, or maybe you want to create some dangerous goods data, okay, or maybe related to some hazard or agent you want to create some data. So where do you exactly create those data? We have to always create the data in the basic data and tools. And this SAP component contains some data and functions that are required in the other EHS components. For example, whatever data we create in basic data and tools, the data will be required in our dangerous goods management. The data we create here in the basic data and tools, the data will be required in the industrial hygiene and safety, or the data we create here will be used in product safety. Like that, the data mainly from this basic data and tools will be used in many other EHS components. So that is why your basic data and tools is just like the heart of your SAP EHS. Very important part in SAP EHS. At the same time, it is very difficult also. Especially when you start learning specification management, you will feel that it is a little difficult. So therefore, you try to concentrate right from the beginning. As I start specification management, try to concentrate more because it's not so very easy to learn specification management. Right? So that is your basic data and tools. It is a SAP EHS component which is used to create data and functions which are used in other components of SAP EHS. So in that first we have specification management. So in specification management, there is something called as specification workbench. What is a specification workbench? We can access specification workbench using transaction code CG02BD. You can access specification workbench by using CG02BD. So we'll directly go to that. We'll try to understand how you can access this specification workbench, what are the different sections in a specification workbench, and then we'll see other details. So just give me a second, let me log in. Okay, so like I told you, CG02BD is the transaction code. Make a note, please, if you want, because you see, if you keep the running notes, it will be good for you. Later on, you don't have to get confused where to find the transaction codes. So whichever important transaction codes are there, try to make them, note them down in the class. Okay, so this is a very important transaction code, CG02BD, that will take you to the specification workbench. So again, how did we come here? From the initial screen, you just enter this transaction code CG02BD, press enter. That will take you to specification workbench. Now if you observe, there are different screen areas or sections in this specification workbench. For example, on the left hand side you have different options here, like you have change key date, previous object, next object, and similarly refresh navigation area, and below also you have some options like header data, choose value assignment, refresh property tree, find next, like that. These are called as standard toolbar. Okay, the options which are given here in the specification workbench, these options are called as standard toolbar. So now what we are doing is we are seeing what are the different screen areas in a specification workbench. So first is called as standard toolbar. Okay, after that, between these options, you can see they have given substance, dangerous good classification, agent, waste code, packaging, and material. So what do you call this? This part of the screen. This section is called as a navigation area. Okay, this small section, small screen area here is called as a navigation area. Don't forget, these are very basic things. Navigation area is our second part of the screen. Next, below that navigation area, you can find there is another section called as detailed structure. You see, they have also written here. This small area at the left hand side bottom of the screen is called as detailed structure area. Okay, so make a note of that also. The third section is called detailed structure area. And then finally, on the right hand side, you can see on the right hand side of the screen this entire section, which is currently gray and there is no option, nothing you can see here. This part of the screen is called as a application area. Okay, the complete right hand side of the specification workbench is called as a application area. Okay, so again I'll repeat that. What do you call these options? Options above and below. What do you call this?
Standard toolbar.
Standard toolbar. Very good. And the area between them, this part of the screen?
Navigation area.
Navigation area. And why do we call it as navigation area? See, because we can navigate from one category to another category. These are different categories. Okay. So if you want to see some data in the substance category, you can navigate to that part. Or if you want to see some waste related data, you can go to the waste code. Or if you want to see some packaging data, you can go to the packaging part. You can jump from one category to another category. That is why they call it as a navigation area. We can navigate through one category and another category. So that is why we call them as navigation area. And here at the bottom, what do you call this?
Detailed structure.
Detailed structure area. Exactly. Yes. It's a detailed structure area. Why we call detailed structure area? Because see, whatever data you create here, no, that data you can see in detail. Okay, any data that you create, the data you can see in detail. That is why we call it as a detailed structure area. And what is this on the right hand side? This is called as a application area. Application area. Okay, why application area? Because see, currently it is blank. But when I double click on any of these categories, let's say I double click on substance category, this blank screen will be replaced by the initial screen. Okay, you can see here the blank screen or application area which was there before is now replaced with the initial screen. And using the initial screen, we can do two things. There are two uses of initial screen. Can you tell me what are they? In SAP, using initial screen, we can do two things. Like here, you can see this is an initial screen. Initial screen is used
Create
to
and view data.
create and
View means fetch the data and create
yeah,
the data.
exactly. So the first thing we can do is we can create new data by using the initial screen. And the second activity that you can do is you can display the existing data. And it is not only here in SAP, wherever you find this initial screen, everywhere. Wherever you have an initial screen, we can use it either to search the existing data or we can use it to create a new data. So that is the use of an initial screen, right? So how did we come here? When you double click on either substance or any other category here, the initial screen will be appearing. So you can see here by default it is showing specification category as substance. It is showing specification category as substance. When I double click on agent, we will go inside the agent category. So here we have the category as agent, right? So initial screen will depend on what category you are selecting. Whatever category you select, initial screen will contain that category name. Okay, so understood? These are the different screen areas in your specification workbench. Now, before we go ahead, before we see other things, I have been telling you here specification, workbench, specification categories, like that I have been telling you. But what exactly is a specification? Have you heard this name anytime before? What exactly is a specification? You have never heard this name? Specification? It's very common name. Not only in SAP, it is like very common. We normally use it.
It specifies some means like means some substance or material. It gives the specific means we can say the properties and description, more detail about that particular material or substance.
Yeah. So specification will give you the more information or detail about any particular object. Okay. It can be any object, by the way. It can be anything. It can be a chemical, it can be stone, it can be table, any electronic gadget, anything. It can be even water or air, any object. So I will just try to tell you in very simple words what is a specification, because from here it will get little tough. As we proceed, it will get a little bit tough. So I will try to be more simplistic in the definitions. So specification is a collection of properties or characteristics of any object. Okay, specification is a collection of properties or characteristic of any object. That object can be anything. You just think about anything, any object. Every object will have a certain properties. table will have a property, your laptop will have a property, your mobile phone will have different properties, or gold will have a different property, sulfuric acid will have a different property. Each and every object that you can think about will have something different from each other, right? So you may think petrol and diesel both are same, both are the byproducts of crude oil, both are used as fuel, and both are having similar properties, but when you go into detail, again it is a bit different, at least density wise, or the boiling point, or the flash point, something or the other will be different from each other. So therefore they may look similar, but they are not in detail. Same thing, you compare sulfuric acid with hydrochloric acid. Do you think there is any difference? Of course, it is different. Both are acids, both are dangerous, both can cause burns, both can cause fire, both are concentrated in nature. Okay, but still, when you look at their composition and when you look at their intrinsic properties, they will be different. So what we do by using a specification, we are going to create those properties for any material. Okay, it can be normally any chemical or any other substance or any material. We can create its properties or characteristics by using a specification. But this is like a very general definition. You have to know the exact definition given by SAP. So what SAP says, how do they define specification? I will write here so that you can understand both. Specifications are data objects. Specifications are data objects that use value assignment, for physical and chemical data, to define certain properties. So what are specifications? According to SAP, they are data objects that use value assignments for physical and chemical data to define certain properties. Just compare both of these definitions. It is much easier to understand by using the first definition, because the words that I have chosen are very common and very simple. But when you read the definition given by SAP, it is more complex and a little confusing also. Because you see, they are saying they are data objects that use value assignment. So immediately next question is, what is a value assignment? Okay. Or they are saying that it is used for physical and chemical data. In a specification, we don't only maintain physical and chemical data, we maintain lot of other properties. Like its toxicological information or regulatory information or firefighting measures, first aid measures, lot of other data also we can maintain, not only physical and chemical data. So for understanding purpose, it is better you remember this first definition which I have given you. It is a collection of properties or characteristics of any object. But standard definition is this, second one. Specifications are data objects that use value assignment for physical and chemical data to define certain properties. Okay, now looking at the practical applicability, you might have seen this. Before you purchase any mobile phone or before you purchase anything, any electronic gadget, what do is, you will go to a website and you will try to check the specifications. Like suppose you want to purchase a mobile phone, but you are confused which mobile phone to purchase, okay, what features you want in that mobile phone, whether data security should be good, or the camera clarity should be good, or do you want more storage space, or do you want more speed, whether you are using it for gaming purpose, whether using it for business purpose, what is your requirement from that mobile phone? According to your requirement, you are going to search it online. First, you want to check what are the options you have. So therefore, you will open any mobile related website. You will select some mobile phone and directly you will go under the technical specification section. Under that technical specification section, they will highlight all the features or characteristics of that mobile phone. Like for example, they may say that the camera is having 45 megapixels, okay, or they may say that the internal storage capacity is 256 GB. They may say that RAM is 12 GB or 16 GB, and similarly they may say it supports 5G network, and then they will give you what is the battery capacity, like 5000 mAh, or maybe nowadays even we are getting 6000 mAh. So what is the battery capacity? All these features of that product you can find in the technical specification. So you have to go under technical specifications and you can check what are the features or what are the properties of that mobile phone. And depending on your requirement, you can choose whichever you want. That is called as a specification, technical specification. Or if I ask you, tell me some specification related to water, for example. So what will you tell me? The specifications related to water is a universal solvent, water is colorless, water is tasteless, water is odorless. Okay, water is having the molecular formula H2O. Water can be used for domestic purposes as well as commercial purposes. Water can be used for generating electricity. There are so many things related to water. Water is a life-saving drug or a life-saving liquid. It belongs, the state of matter of water can be either solid, liquid or even gas. So only water is having that property, by the way. Water can exist as a solid, as a liquid, as well as a gaseous matter. So these unique properties which I am just listing out, they are called as specifications. Right? So like that, you take any object, I can give you a list of properties. So those properties, when we create and when we group it together, we call it as a specification. Here what examples I am giving you, they are for example's sake, but in reality when we create a specification, we create it because maybe we want MSDS, or maybe we want to maintain some regulatory data, or maybe some other data for that particular object. That is why we create a specification. Okay, so let's go back to the screen. Here in the initial screen you can see there are different options. Here you have specification, specification category, authorization group, specification type, like that there are different options. Now let's see how we can search any existing specification by using the initial screen. So we are in the initial screen, and if you want to search any data or any specification that is already created, how will you search? There are a couple of ways. Okay, under the substance category, if I want to see what data is available or what specifications are available, I can do one thing. I can just put a star here. Okay, enter a star and then press enter. It is saying that you have not specified any search parameter. The search may be time intensive. No problem. Click yes. And now you can see just in the substance category alone, there are about 4272 specifications. Okay, just in this one category, so many files or so many specifications are there. So for now, you can just compare specification with a file. Okay, there are 4272. Now if I click on hit list, see there is an option here called hit list. So if I click on this, all those 4272 specifications will be displayed in the list. You see here, this entire list of data is called as a hit list. Hit list means actually it is a search result. Hit list is nothing but search result. So under the substance category, there are how many? 4,272 specifications. Each one of them is a specification, like 017, 168, 201, 319. Each one of them is a specification. So this is one way. If you just count, there will be 4,000. Okay, you can just go down and check. There will be more than 4,000 specifications. So it is showing all the data, entire data present in specification category substance. It is showing. Now, if you want to see any particular data, let's say you want to see a specification related to some material. So how will you search? Again, if you click on back button, it will take you back to the initial screen. Now, because I did not enter any specification name, so it was showing all the data. Now what I'll do, I will enter some name. Let's say if there is any specification created for water, I want to see the data. So enter here specification name as water. Okay. And then press enter. So there is one specification that is matching with the name water. That is why in hit list you can see there is just one hit or one result. Because see, just like a file, you cannot duplicate the data here. Whenever you create a specification, you can use that name only once. So you cannot see the specification with the name water that may be having 2 or 3 specifications. It is a unique name and only one specification can have that name. So therefore, when I entered here water, I am only getting one search result. Okay, like this. Second. So you get the one result, that is called one hit in the hit list. This is another way. If you know the name of any specification, you can enter that name and it will show the result in the hit list. But sometimes what happens, you will forget the name. You may not remember because a specification can either have a name or a number. You see here below there are some numbers also. Acetone is a specification name. This 822 is a number. 876 is a number. 773 is a number. Demo 203L is another specification name. So either a specification can have a name or a number, or it can be alphanumerical code like this. So therefore sometimes you will not remember, you may forget a particular specification name. So what to do in such a case? In such a case, if you at least remember the initial letter of that specification, you can enter that, followed by again a star. Okay, the starting letter or number of a specification followed by a star. Now again if you press enter, what the system will do? It will display all the specifications which are starting with letter W. So here water is one specification name we have. Another specification is WST20-1-182D. These are two specifications in the hit list because there are only two specifications that start with letter W. Now it is easy. Whichever I want to see the data, I can double click and I can see the data. Right? This is another way how you can search any specification. Okay, what if you want to display all the specifications that end with letter E, for example? Here I have put W first followed by a star. So all specifications starting with W letter will be displayed. Now if you change it, let's say first you will put star and then at the end you will put E. Now what happens? Now if I press enter, now the system will show all the specification whose name is ending with letter E. Like here you have air fuel, carbohydrate, chocolate, ID cookie, soy sauce, jet fuel, leucine, like that. There are some specifications. And if you observe, all these names are ending with letter E. So in case if you forget or if you don't know the name of the specification, you can simply enter the one letter and then you can search. Okay, that is also possible. And what else? Let's say you want to display some specification whose middle letter is, let's say T, for example. I don't know what the specification starts with, what is the starting letter, I don't know. What is the last letter or number, that also I don't know. I just remember the middle letter is T. So in that case also you can search, you have to put star first, followed by the letter and again ending with the star. Now what happens? Any specification that contains the letter T in the middle, somewhere in the middle, all those specifications will be displayed. Okay, for example, let's see here, press enter. There are 925 specifications that contain letter T somewhere in the middle. See here, acetone, again acetone 001, all nutrient, bio wheat, butter, and calories, fat. I don't know, this is coming at the end, fine. Even if there is a space after that, it will consider. Carbohydrate, and then you have chocolate again, cholesterol, CIT. All these are specifications that contain letter T either in the middle or maybe in the end, because we have used star followed by T and again star. This is another way. So by using these different methods, you can search any specification. So let me search acetone. We have one specification called acetone, and if I double click on that, what will happen? See, it will first get added in the list. Here it will get added, and in the detailed structure area which I told you, it will show the structure of that particular specification, like in more detail it will show. So this is a acetone specification. The structure of that specification you can see here in the detailed structure area. How did we come here? I first searched for acetone. Okay, let me repeat because this is again little tricky to understand. From the initial screen, what I did, I entered some specification name like acetone. I pressed enter, and in my hit list I got that name acetone. Now by double click on that specification, what happened? In my detailed structure area, I got that acetone name, and exactly what data they have maintained I can see here. So they have maintained material safety data sheet for acetone, right? In the detailed structure area, I can see the information containing in that acetone specification. Got it? Are you able to understand? Any doubt here? We are still looking at how to search any data by using the initial screen. Are you able to follow, guys? See, this is little difficult. Okay?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
Omkar. Yeah.
When the acetone was selected, what is the list that is being displayed at the
That is the
MSDS area?
MSDS. Yeah. For example, you are speaking about acetone. When I double click and select acetone, in the detailed structure area, you can see first it is showing acetone. Below that, it is showing material safety data sheet. So whatever MSDS data they have maintained for acetone, no, that data you can see here. Do you know how many sections are there in MSDS? Anybody?
Yes, sir. 16.
16 sections.
16.
Yeah. Yes. Any MSDS document, if you open, there will be 16 sections. So see here, how many folders are there in this?
16.
There are 16 folders. And under each folder, you have to maintain the data for that acetone. Like what are its first aid measures that are applicable for acetone. If it catches fire, what are the firefighting measures we have to deploy? If there is any accidental release of acetone, what measures we have to follow? And what are the physical chemical properties of acetone? Like that, every folder will contain the data related to acetone. Different data related to acetone will be maintained under different folders. But all these put together, this entire data is called as a MSDS data. Okay, so this is for acetone. Let's say you are manufacturing some other chemical, XYZ. For that XYZ chemical, you want to create a MSDS document. How will you create?
Just one question I had. In the navigation area, what list is showing this one? In the navigation area?
Here, this one.
Huh?
This is showing different specifications. Under substance category, see whichever, it is like a shortcut or what should I say, favorites. Whatever
Okay.
specification I had opened before, no, those it is showing here. I had opened this, I had opened demo 203, I had opened sample 1713. Whichever specification I am searching and double clicking on that, that will get added automatically in the list.
Latest items it is showing.
Latest, yeah.
Latest items. Okay.
Exactly. It is showing what is the latest data we have opened. See, just like your computer system, whichever folder, whichever files you open, no, they will be displayed as the most frequently used or frequently opened data, like that. See, I will show you here. When I open this particular folder, file folder, okay, see, immediately it is showing recent. These are some of the documents which I have opened recently, right? So these are the recent documents. So similar to this, in our specification management also, whenever I open any or whenever I expand any specification category, I will get a list of specifications. But as and when I open new specifications, the list will become very lengthy. See, I will show you one more example. Let's search some specification starting with C and we'll see what happens. Okay, let me use C followed by star. And when I go to hit list, it will show me all these specifications starting with letter C. Now, let's assume I will open this carbohydrate example. When I double click, what will happen? That carbohydrate specification will get added to the list. See? Because it is a recent data. And not only that, in my detailed structure area also you can see it is showing some data maintained for carbohydrate. But whether it is having MSDS data or some other data.
This one is different. It's not MSDS.
Yeah, it is showing something called nutrient. Because carbohydrate is what? It is some nutrient value, right? It's a nutrient. So therefore, the data that they have maintained for carbohydrate is something else. It's not MSDS data. It's a nutrient related data. And what does that tell you? It tells you that we can maintain different types of data, not only MSDS, we can maintain other types of data. Like any regulatory data if you want to maintain, or industrial hygiene data if you want to maintain, or MSDS data, or anything else. Any data related to some material if you want to create, that is possible in a specification. Okay, in acetone we saw MSDS data, see, it was MSDS, but in carbohydrate it is some other data. So for different types of materials, depending on the nature of that material, not always it is applicable that MSDS data we have to create. Sometimes other type of data also is created. But here the problem is when we keep on adding specification, the list will become very lengthy. Right? It will become very lengthy. So what do? If you feel that there are a lot of unwanted specifications also which you may not be requiring, what you can do, you can remove some of them. For example, I don't want this specification, let's say acetone. I can simply right click on that, and there is an option called remove entry from folder. So what will happen? That specification will be removed. I don't want carbohydrate. Right click on carbohydrate, select the option remove entry from folder. So again that carbohydrate specification will be removed. So you can make the list short again by removing whichever you don't want. Okay, you just have to select, right click, go to remove entry from folder. But there is one more thing. Removing is one option, but you can also delete the specification. See, after removing, again if I want that, what should I do? I have removed acetone. Acetone is not there in the list, but I want to add it again. What to do?
You can just search again. It will automatically come.
Yeah. So if I remove any specification and if I want to put it back in the list, what should I do is, I have to again go to the substance category, double click on this substance. It will take me to the initial screen. So here I have to again search. What do I want to add? I want to add acetone. Okay. Press enter, search that specification. You will get it in the hit list. Again, if you double click, see what will happen. It will get added. Right, like that. Carbohydrate, again you want to add. Again, go back to the initial screen. Instead of acetone, now search for carbohydrate. And then double click so that again that will also get added. Like that. Every time you search any specification and select that, it will get added into the list. Okay, clear no so far? You can remove,
Yes.
you can make the list short, or you can add more number of specifications. It's your choice. But once you remove, you can add it back. Like I have shown you here, acetone and carbohydrate we had removed. But again you can search, you can add it back. But there is another option where you cannot add the specification again. If you delete, let's say any one specification you select and you will delete it. Let's say I want to delete the sample 911. I don't want this specification. You can right click, and if you go down, there is one option called delete specification. But currently it is inactive. See, even if I select, nothing will happen. Why?
It is now in display mode. If we
Yeah,
change
it is in display mode. See, as long as you are in display mode in the SAP, you can only display the data. You cannot modify, you cannot change anything. All that is not possible. If you want to delete or if you want to make some modification in the data, you have to change from display mode to edit mode. And how will you change? There is one option here at the beginning. You see this option? This option is called display or edit. If I click on that, here from display it has changed to edit mode. Okay, now we are in edit mode. So if I again right click on that specification, I can see that the delete option is now active. So what will happen if I select on delete specification? It will say that first we have to save the data. Do you want to proceed? Okay, you can say yes. And then again it will ask, do you really want to delete the object? Yes, I want to delete. So what happens? See, again it got removed. But here the difference is again I cannot bring it back. See, if I go back to initial screen and search again, what was that specification name? Sample underscore 991. Okay, this is what I deleted. If I go again to initial screen and try to search, it is saying there is no object. Because once you delete, the data is gone. You cannot bring it back. So it is better to remove the specification instead of deleting them. Right? So that whatever data was there inside sample 911, that is gone now. It is deleted. Just like deleting the files permanently, something like that. Okay? So not only you have to search directly from this list, also you can see the data. Like you can double click on any of these specifications and it will show the data. See, again this 168 is some chemical. For this chemical, they have maintained MSDS data. You see this all 16 sections. They have maintained some data for this chemical 168. Or we have something called as solder paste. If you go into that, again it is showing MSDS data. So in the detailed structure area, we are going to see what data is actually maintained for that specification. Okay guys, following? Any doubt anywhere, please let me know. Don't keep quiet. Okay, let's recall again whatever we have seen so far. What is the transaction code for specification workbench?
CG02B.
CG02BT. That will take you to initial screen. Sorry, to the workbench. Now I told you there are different screen areas in the specification workbench. What do you call these buttons or options above and below?
Standard toolbar.
Standard toolbar. Okay, the screen between them, this part,
Navigation area.
navigation area. Why do we call it as navigation area?
Here we can
You said
get different types of things like subtasks, subjects, waste code, packaging.
We can actually access different parts of your specification categories. Because a specification will have a particular category, just like your solids, liquids and gases, specifications will have different categories. So substance is there, dangerous goods classification is there, agent is there. Agent means what in SAP? What is the meaning of agent?
Hazard.
Very good, hazard. Agent means hazard. In our EHS, you know what is a hazard. So all hazard related data or agent related data we create here in the agent category. Similarly, we have waste code and packaging. Right? These are the categories. So because we can jump from one category to another category here, we call it as a navigation area. And at the bottom, this part of the screen,
Detailed structure area.
detailed structure area, because you can see the detailed structure of any specification. Okay, and on the right hand side,
Application area.
application area. These are the different screen areas in our specification workbench. Okay, how do we go to the initial screen?
If we double click, suppose if you want to search any substance or specification, so you can double click on substance.
Or maybe like I want to see what data is there in dangerous goods classification. Okay, so I will double click on this DG classification. So what will happen? In my initial screen will contain dangerous good classification as the category. So this is the initial screen. By using the initial screen, I can search any existing data or I can create a new data. How to create new data, we'll see that later on. But yeah, at least now we know we can search any existing data. Okay, in this DG classification, how do I search any data?
by use of a star.
Star.
If I don't put star, what will happen? Let's say I don't put star. I will simply press enter. What do you think will happen?
It will give the list of all the specifications.
Yeah, it will give, yeah. Whether you put star or don't put star, it is the same thing. If I simply press enter now also, it will show the all data present in DG classification. See, there are just 20, fine, but it will show all data in the DG classification. Same thing, if you put a star also, it will give the same result. Yeah, press enter, it will give you the same result. No problem, whether you put star or keep it blank, no problem. That is one way. What is the other way to search the data?
If you want to search, like, start with the W, you need to put W first and then star.
Okay. What if you don't have
End up
any
with-
specification starting with letter W?
It won't show.
Okay, let's see. I will just use the same example. I will use W as the starting letter followed by star. Now, if I press enter, you see it is saying no data form. So, there are no dangerous good related specifications that start with letter W. Okay, what about D? I will put D followed by a star. Now, if I press enter, there are some specifications, in fact 13 number of specifications starting with letter D. It will show all those specification data. All these are starting with letter D. And if you enter the complete name, if you know the complete name of that specification, you can just put that name and again press enter. Just one specification will be shown like this, because we are searching for a particular specification. Okay, and what is a hit list?
It is a list of all
The result of the search.
list of all the results.
It shows the results, yeah. Search results. Not just any result, it will show the search result. Because you are searching something here now. You are searching some data that just like Google search, how you search in the Google search bar, if you enter something like SAP EHS online courses, below that screen you can get the entire result. So search result will be shown here in SAP as a hit list. If the result is just one, it will show one data. Or if there are more than one search results, it will show how many hits it has. That is called as a hit list. Okay, fine. Then after that, what is a specification? How will you define a specification?
Collection of properties and characteristics of any object.
Okay, can you give an example?
As you told, like water, sir. Water. It is colorless, odorless, tasteless.
But use some other example.
Impure.
That is old example.
Any general example? Like
Yeah.
if you consider a mobile phone, mobile phones having some specification like storage and its battery
Yeah.
capacity, and,
Yes. Screen size.
screen size, and
What is the see? Some mobile phones have a Snapdragon chip. Some mobile phones have some other chip. Processors are different. And you know, even in the camera, some mobile phones come with ZS lens. Like Vivo, for example, has a ZS lens. Others are normal lens. Okay, something like that. Property of that mobile phone. Battery capacity. Some mobile phones have only 5000 mAh. Other batteries are even up to 7000 mAh. We have the battery capacity. Something is different, no? Between one mobile phone and another mobile phone, something will be different. So those properties, you know, we create those properties in a specification. Similarly, there are different properties in chemicals also. Some chemicals have some acidic properties, some chemicals have some other set of properties. So what we do when we create a specification, it is just like a file. inside that file, the information related to that object is going to be present. It is just like a file. Again, it's very common. You can consider specification like a file. So when I manufactured some chemical, I have to create a MSDS. So I will give some name for that specification, maybe like xylene or some name, and then I will create a MSDS for that particular material. Right? So specification is a collection of properties or characteristics of any object. But that is only for your reference. The actual definition is like this. Specifications are data objects that use value assignments for physical and chemical data to define certain properties. Remember this definition, because a lot of times in the interview they will ask you what is a specification. At that time, don't tell this. They will simply not consider. In the interview, you have to tell this definition. Okay, fine so far. I think now the call may get disconnected. As you know, we can connect only for 1 hour. If it does, tomorrow will continue. We are still at the very basic things. There are so many other things I have to tell you. But practice this. Whatever we have seen today, please open your system, go to the server and practice. Try to search some specifications. Try to use this transaction code CG02BD. Try to navigate through these different areas here. Okay, and one last thing what I told you here, whenever I search any specification, it will get added to the list. And the list will keep on growing. It will keep on growing. So if you want to hide some of them, you have to right click and select the option called remove entry from folder. It will be removed. Right click, remove entry from folder. Like that you can remove. You can remove all and keep just 1 or 2. It's your wish. But we can make this list short. These are the recent specifications which we had opened. So that is why it is coming in the list. And what is the second option? What is the second option?
We can delete that specification.
We can delete the specification, but remember we cannot get it back. That specification will be permanently deleted. Let me see if I can do here. Yeah, I have to be in the edit mode. We are in display mode.